RoboCop Rogue City was among 2023's most exciting games, with Polish developer Teon bringing one of popular culture's most iconic characters to life on current-gen systems in a way that remained faithful to the original films, while taking RoboCop's adventures forward in ways that resonated with fans and newcomers alike. As a first-person shooter that carried the challenge of imitating RoboCop's sluggish movements and raw firepower, Rogue City made clever choices in how it established continuity between the original films while managing to stand on its own 2 feet as a game that allowed fans to live out a power fantasy that was very well received. Teon hasn't been content to rest on the laurels it received for its excellent adaptation, however, and Unfinished Business is the result of its determination to bring more to the story than it originally intended. With a little over 2 weeks to go before RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business hits the shelves, here are a few things to keep in mind before you decide to pick up a copy and dive back into the madness of a man and a machine working as one. Unfinished Business is a standalone expansion. While it was originally meant to be a DLC chapter to Rogue City's excellent story, things soon snowballed over at Teon, and Unfinished Business is now a standalone expansion to the main game. You don't need to own a copy of the original game and can dive into this one with a passing knowledge of the RoboCop franchise. What's more, Unfinished Business is set to take Alex Murphy's story forward in exciting ways, while giving players an opportunity to engage with a lot of cool gear and story beats all on its own. And more on that as we look at other features on our list. Omni Tower takes the stage in Unfinished Business. The OCP is up to its usual tricks, with its latest project looking to give Detroit's upstaged residents an affordable housing option. This project is none other than Omni Tower, meant to be a safe haven for Detroit's displaced citizenry. Things, well, they don't go exactly to plan, however, and in typical RoboCop fashion, the OCP's new building is now the staging ground for an exciting battle between its best soldier and a mercenary group looking to take control of the company's tech. It's the perfect stage for Murphy's unique brand of justice, and things are sure to heat up as soon as the curtains rise on Teon's latest outing. The Cop in RoboCop. Unfinished Business is poised to take a look into Alex Murphy's murky past as a police officer, with flashback sequences aimed at further fleshing out his motivations and origin story as the ultimate weapon against crime, organized or otherwise. Getting to play sequences as Alex Murphy would be a great way for developers to explore what makes Murphy a great cop and a suitable candidate for the RoboCop program. It's also an opportunity to include more iconic moments from the original films, and maybe even some of the campy humor that made RoboCop so popular in the first place. A more focused adventure. While RoboCop's slow movements are a conscious choice from Teon as it aimed to present an authentic take on the character for its players, Unfinished Business has been designed to provide an experience that ups the ante for Murphy while not being too long or tedious in terms of its gameplay loop. To that end, the new expansion should take you anywhere between 8 to 10 hours to complete based on how good you were with the base game's refreshing take on RoboCop's weaponry and combat capabilities. It's also the reason why the developer decided to let the new story unfold entirely within the confines of Omni Tower. Rebalanced progression systems. Keeping in line with the expansion's shorter runtime in comparison to the base game, Unfinished Business is bringing a rebalanced progression system that speeds up your path to valuable upgrades and cool new abilities. It's a great way to account for the changes that Teon is bringing to the table, while also ensuring that a shorter story does not let up on the excitement that put Rogue City on the map in the first place. The new progression system and skill trees are sure to work well with other additions to the upcoming expansion, creating an experience that might just leave its players wanting more when they roll the credits on Murphy's latest tryst with Detroit's criminal element. New weapons. While Murphy will continue to rely on his trusty Auto 9 gun as the bread and butter of his assault on overwhelming enemy forces, Teon has also hinted at a new roster of weapons that can aid his cause. Chief among them is the Cryogun, a weapon originally wielded by the game's new antagonist that you get to commandeer and use with potentially devastating effects on enemy grunts unfortunate enough to find themselves fighting RoboCop. Its new freezing mechanic is sure to add new wrinkles to an already entertaining combat loop that will continue to feature the brutality and ruthless efficiency that Murphy is known for, while other additions could potentially help him decimate enemy forces with his trademark style. New enemies. RoboCop isn't the only one bringing new skills and weapons to the table. As the new mercenary group he's poised to face in Unfinished Business comes with a few handy tricks of their own. There are snipers, who like to keep their distance, fighting alongside airborne drones that can prove to be quite a nuisance in the field. Tougher enemies with improved armor can keep the pressure on Murphy, while there are even OCP cyborgs equipped with katanas that could even turn the tables on RoboCop if he plays his cards wrong. It's clear that Murphy's expanded arsenal is going to be measured against his latest enemies' expanded skill sets in battles that push everyone's favorite blend of man and machine to his very limits. A new combat loop. With Omni Tower's potentially cramped spaces and a host of enemies hellbent on bringing down the walking tank in front of them, combat in Unfinished Business is all set to bring the fight to Murphy. Tight spaces and limited room to maneuver, along with more variety in enemy types that are more aggressive than the ones in the base game, are set to make the new expansion feel much more frantic, and perhaps even harder than Murphy's most recent effort to end crime. You're going to need every bit of firepower that RoboCop's new abilities and arsenal provide if you wish to be the last one standing in what is shaping up to be a very dangerous indoor battlefield. New ways to deal with enemies. While your enemies attack in greater force and bring new wrinkles to the combat loop, Teon has ensured that Murphy is also equipped to turn the tables when the moment presents itself. The environments in Omni Tower are set to play a key part in the game's combat loop, allowing Murphy to ricochet bullets off of special panels in order to take out snipers or bypass enemy shields. You could also decide to use vending machines or other specially marked items to take out that pesky cyborg or drone when the chance presents itself. It's only right to use every advantage at your disposal against a new enemy group that seems well equipped in their effort to deal with RoboCop. And remember, justice delayed is justice denied. The OCP may not be as helpful as they used to be. While the main story in Unfinished Business is currently under careful guard, we do know that the new mercenary group that takes on RoboCop does so after raiding the OCP and taking control of a lot of their tech. The Robo Chair is among their most significant items in their stolen inventory, presenting a problem for Murphy that he may want to solve sooner rather than later if he plans to stay alive long enough to take them down. It's a clever move from Teon, as it raises the stakes for RoboCop by removing one of his most important allies in the field from the equation. It's also a brilliant way to bring new twists on the core gameplay loop in Rogue City, many of which are sure to keep Murphy on his toes in the field. We're confident that the legendary Super Cop will manage well enough without them though. A more human perspective. While the OCP's equipment may not be as accessible as Murphy would like it to be, the same does not go for its people. Every hero needs their guy in a chair feeding them helpful information from afar, and Unfinished Business is no different. Enter Miranda Hale, an OCP scientist whose motivations are currently unclear, who not only helps Murphy take out the mercenaries, but is also set to be a playable character with sequences of her own. She is sure to bring interesting twists to the tale that's being presented, while perhaps developing a turbulent working relationship with RoboCop as she goes about her murky mission. Cassius Graves leads the mercenaries. Every shadowy group of antagonists leads a charismatic and mysterious leader. That dubious privilege falls to Cassius Graves, a man whose sense of justice is a little too skewed for Murphy's tastes. He is assisted by Douglas Cole, a mercenary with the more familiar motive of serving the highest bidder. These new antagonists are poised to create a lot of problems for Murphy to solve, while their army tries to stop him at every step of the way. Be ready to face a lot of dastardly traps and devious schemes as these new antagonists do their utmost to relegate RoboCop to the scrap heap. A not-so-lonely adventure. While Ann Lewis and Sergeant Warren Reed are on the call list for Unfinished Business, Murphy is also slated to meet a few denizens of Omni Tower who need his assistance. The morality system featured in Rogue City could very well make a triumphant return in this new expansion, giving Murphy a few troubling choices that could have lasting consequences, just like they did in the base game. Keeping an eye out for them is going to be well worth the effort if 2023's hit is any indication. The OG RoboCop is back. Peter Weller is the voice of Alex Murphy and RoboCop, bringing all of his deadpan line deliveries and trademark charm to the role of a character that he once played with aplomb in the original films. His presence in the game's cast is sure to bring a layer of nuance and emotional depth to a character he is great at playing, and is sure to make those flashback sequences of Murphy all the more memorable as a result. A little bit of Ed 209 never hurts. Perhaps the part of unfinished business that we are most excited about, we get to control the Ed 209 prototype in a few sequences of this new expansion. This precursor to RoboCop comes with the trademark arsenal it has been known for, wielding it with deadly force in this upcoming game. If RoboCop is not the limit of your desire to dispense justice, well, look no further than the Ed 209, which seems poised to be an important part of this story as well. Well, we would love to hear your thoughts on Unfinished Business's newest additions and what you're most excited to try out when it releases on July 17th, 2025 for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Vault, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.